Hello, everybody. David Frangioni here with a great friend, drummer, collaborator of Modern Drummer. We're live here from Miami Beach. Bruno Esrubilsky, drumming for
Mitski.
And you have some great stories to share because you've been on the road with her and
Can't
performed
wait.
with her
Yeah,
quite a
it's
bit.
been almost 8 years now, and this
Amazing.
is the very beginning of our 2024 year, and it's really cool to be here with you
Wow.
guys.
Well,
Really
it's so
happy.
cool to have you. So everybody
Yeah.
check it out. We're going to take you through Bruno's drum kit and check out a separate segment of the Modern Drummer podcast featuring Bruno. But for now, let's go through the kit.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the drums here? Let's go
Yeah.
through sizes, types,
Absolutely,
etc.,
yeah.
brands.
We decided for this year, given the new record and how it sounds, we figured vintage is the way to go. You know, having them sound really not dead, but just that classic, round badge sound.
So these are actual Gretsch round badge,
100%.
actual
Yeah.
vintage. What do you know?
60s,
The 60s.
60s,
Okay.
yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. And what do we have for sizes?
Yeah, 20-inch kick drum,
Mhm.
12, 14, 16, and then the two snares, and that's the original Gretsch snare for the kit. And this is a pearl snare.
Oh, it looks like a 6.5.
Yes, 6.5.
And what kind of pearl snare is it?
That's the 6.5 alloy sensitone pearl. That sounds awesome. It just has that rock aspect for it, and then we have the left snare, is the side snare, yeah, which belongs to the Gretsch kit for the parts where we play brushes or broomsticks. This show, almost 2-hour long show, we go through drumsticks, we go through mallets, brushes, broomsticks, hot rods, everything that ProMark makes. Let's use it,
Wow. Okay.
And for most of the brush broomstick things, we go to the left snare. It has the old school drum head in it, So we tried to get a kit that's not overwhelmingly large, but it has a little bit of everything for Mitski's new music.
A lot of colors available.
Yes.
Sounds like.
Oh yeah. Big
so
time.
you're gonna play a little bit with these different apparatuses, right?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. For sure.
So now this floor tom is not vintage, right?
No. Gretsch made this one sort of to match the rest of the kit.
Okay.
But this is a modern Gretsch. But man, did they do a good job.
The tone kind of fits the whole vibe.
If you get really picky about it and you look, you can tell that it's not.
But sonically, it's there.
It's awesome. It sounds really.
And
great.
what I notice about the kit, the sound of the kit, right, for the drums, is that they're very dry.
Yeah.
And yet they still have character, and they still have like a little bit of carry and a little bit of tone.
Drum tech Chris, who's the man, gets them to sound great every night, and it's amazing. We have coated bottom heads, which is really cool.
Oh, okay.
First time that
so very jazzy kind of approach.
Yeah. First time that I play coated bottom heads on tour, and I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. It gives that warm feeling, old school per se sound, And on top of that, depending on the song, we have little accessories that we put on the drums and really kills them.
Even more.
More.
Does every drum, I guess every one but the snare, right?
We got them for everyone.
Oh,
we got a little bit of fun for every drum. The snare, sometimes we do one of these.
Oh, okay. The
big fat snare drum.
Okay.
They're just awesome.
Wow.
And they deaden the drums so very much. And for specific songs, it's exactly what you need. It just sounds like a record.
So let's go through the cymbals and any other accessories that you want to share.
Absolutely.
So what do we have over here? I see a lot of different tones coming at us.
All the way, always for me. The right cymbal is a personal jewel of mine, that I've had for so very long.
It looks like a vintage K.
Yeah, I have had it for about 25 years, and I basically can't remember a gig that I played or a tour that it wasn't on that right cymbal.
Amazing.
And it was given to me personally by one of my favorite human beings ever, Joe Porcaro. Rest in peace.
Iconic.
Yeah. Rest in peace. I love him so much. He was my teacher for almost 2 years. When I was 18, I moved to LA to spend a year basically studying under him and Ralph Humphrey.
Oh, sure.
Another iconic
Musicians Institute.
Drummer.
MIT.
It was the post one, Lama, Los Angeles Music Academy, the one that they started after they left
Oh.
MI, which
Oh,
was
okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Talking early 2000s.
Okay.
So Joe Porcaro, he's like, I got a few cymbals to give you. Here, come check it out. Choose a few, and I chose that and a few others, but this has stuck with me.
What a gift.
Oh yeah, that yeah, it's one of those things that you never ever want to get rid of.
Sure. And you have the bead there to
Yeah.
give it a sizzle
Yeah,
kind of sound.
because for Mitski's new record, there's a lot of that cymbal that just keeps going type of idea, you know.
Okay.
So that's a way to approach it for live. So
It works on every song that you use
yeah,
the ride?
yeah, it's
Wow.
just there.
Oh, cool.
It lives there, and
That's
it really
different,
sounds
right?
great. Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
see
yeah.
that
It's
very often.
absolutely. I love it. For the rest of the cymbals, it's a really nice mix and match because you got like, you know, a modern-y type of sound with the
Yep.
effect, even the cluster crash, which is fairly new for Zildjian,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing. It's an amazing cymbal. But then the rest of them, they're sort of like that earthy, dark tonality, basically following along the dry ride. You know,
Right.
basically the same type of hi-hats to complement the ride. This is just a killer crash. The
Wow,
dry
look at all the
crash.
hammering.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
these
so
are
cool.
So the whole kit is just very dark and dry.
Yeah, I like to
from
look
the
at it and
cymbals
think
to the
earthy.
drums.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And this is like a classic, you know, Zildjian crash that just complements everything and is a little brighter than the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really happy with this mix and match that we
And you have the
figured out.
effects stack.
Yeah, the clap stack thing for a few songs. It's a really cool kit to play on a long show like this that just goes through so many different type of sounds.
And no triggering.
No triggering. We have no electronics on this tour. I've done a lot of electronics with Mitski in the past, but this tour, nothing. And it's refreshing. It's really cool.
Right, because you're recreating everything organically.
Absolutely. For many years, we had Roland SPD,
Oh, sure.
trigger here, trigger there. We've never had the actual triggers on the drums, but we always had the little single shot
Sure.
triggers, you
Yep,
know?
Yep.
And I was in charge of a lot of long samples, like firing sometimes 2 to 3 minute long samples.
Better get that right.
So you had to really, if it wasn't a downbeat, you couldn't do it on the end. You really screw it up. So it was a fun challenge, but completely different to the approach for this year.
Okay.
This year is play the record, try to sound like the record, and now we have a bigger band, and we have the luxury to have people to be able to play those parts that I was hitting,
Mm-hmm.
SPDs or, you know.
Right.
It's also refreshing to come back to a drum kit to just play drums. You know, not be
Absolutely.
tethered to
In a very modern,
aspect.
you know,
Yeah.
musical set.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of challenges to get that.
Oh.
You got the pearl cowbell.
Cowbell,
You got the DW.
Yeah, with the fluffy beater.
Right,
The little lamb beater.
And any other special effects?
Oh well, the most
Besides-
important part of the kit, bar none, is Lord Schnauzer over here, who just oversees everything we do.
Okay.
It's just a dear part of the kit. But it is a muffling device that Big Fat Snare Drum does.
Okay.
But for my use, it's just so I can stare at it during the show.
Is that your doggy?
That's my dog.
Oh, I love it. I would say a bad joke and say it looks rough, but that's too bad of a joke.
No,
So,
I mean, it's
but-
not. When he barks, it's pretty rough. I have a
That's-
Schnauzer myself, so it's just fun to be watching.
I had a
that,
miniature
yeah.
Schnauzer.
I love him.
Wow,
Oh,
when I was a
love
kid.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him.
Oh,
Hugo,
that's awesome.
He is the
Hugo.
man. Yeah,
Hugo follows you all over the world.
everywhere we go,
I love it.
it's the best part of the kit.
So we're gonna go through some of the. Let's take some of the
Yeah.
sticks, and
Yeah.
because that's really a part
I
of
was
this
saying,
kit
there's
and the
so-
show. So what
There's
have you got
so
in your
much
bag
going
of
on.
tricks?
Yeah, there's so much. ProMark, I played ProMark for years, and Evans and Zildjian always for years. They make these that are super cool that you can flip between mallet and stick.
Mhm.
For this tour, it's super helpful. There's songs that
You got a cymbal swell or have
lots
light.
of swell, lots of swells, and lots of flipping between the mallet type of sound,
Mhm.
not just for cymbals but for drums overall,
Okay,
and to a more pingy,
sure.
stick sound. So
That's
this is
great.
really neat.
That's
I've-
nice,
I've
yeah.
used this a lot on this show. The rods, we use them a lot. These are classic, And then the best part is the broomsticks the ProMark makes. These are
Wow.
they're awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Wow,
They
they
sound so
literally
great.
do look like the old
Yeah.
Wicked
Yeah,
Witch
it's
of the
like you
West
cut.
broomsticks,
Yeah.
right?
At
That's good.
Berkeley, I used to have one of my favorite teachers at Berkeley, Jamie Haddad, a percussionist. He would have us cut the end of a broom and tie it together, like, very DIY.
Right.
But it's basically, this is the idea. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because you go between the bamboo kind
Yeah.
of vibe
To this.
and the broomstick kind of vibe,
Yeah.
and they just
And-
it's like that particular
Yeah,
to
it's super
dial
cool.
in these sounds.
And it makes the drum sound so dark and just big, and it's really cool. And then brushes, like good old brushes that we use in quite a few
Traditional.
songs.
Yeah. Wow.
I love it.
I say old school, but it's a new school thing.
It's the new old school.
Yeah. It's
No,
awesome.
it's a really, really fun kit to play. There's a bit of everything. There's just so many tones, a lot of freedom to play on this kit, on this tour. And like we were saying, it's a drummer. To me, it's a drummer's dream to just sit on a drum and play drums. There's not much to think outside of the drum peripheral here,
Right. It's a very musical
Yeah.
kit.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
everything speaks to whatever song you're going to be
Yeah,
doing.
Absolutely.
So it's
And we
it's
switch
pretty awesome.
in the same song. Sometimes we might go from broomsticks to brushes to this, to snares off, to snares on, to muffling with the things that we were talking about. It's really cool.
And
It's
these
really,
hats,
really
are these
cool.
15s?
They're 15, yeah.
Okay, so you're using
They're
little
amazing.
bigger hats.
This is small for me. For years, I used crashes, like 17-inch, sometimes
For
8
hi-hats?
For hi-hats,
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
And I would mix and match them. 8 customs in the bottom sometimes, some type of kick custom on top.
Okay.
And depending on the tour, depending on whatever the year, called for, I would have those. But I think it's a little more,
A little more traditional.
A little more kosher.
And why was it that were you playing music that loud, or what was
No,
it that you wanted the big hats?
Not necessarily loudness.
Because the chick is different, like everything, the wash is different,
Yeah.
everything's a lot different when you go that large.
I think it's the washy aspect. It's just, it felt so good to play massive crashes as hi-hats. Just has that, you can play one note on it and it just takes over,
it fills
like
it up.
buttery, to my ears at least.
Mhm.
And I loved it. And if you approach it from, like, if you're opening hi-hats and you're playing like slushy sound, when you have crashes as hi-hats and you're doing it like in a long notes, very washy, just so great. It's so nice. But too big for now, for this tour. And
this is a
these,
tight kit.
Yeah, it would have been a little much. So these, they satisfy the large the large size without being crazy town.
Well, it's
like,
fantastic.
What's that drummer
kit.
doing? Why was he doing that?
Hi, it's David Frangioni, CEO of Modern Drummer. Thank you for leading our drumming community and being such a significant and important part of everything we do here at Modern Drummer. We're so excited. Please hit the subscribe button to Modern Drummer's YouTube channel. It's just hit it below. Be part of everything we're doing every day, every week, every month. Also, check out our shop. It's so exciting for drummers to check out. We got back issues. Got some incredible drummers. We've got shirts. We've got hats. We've got notebooks. We've got education. It's all there. If you love drums and drumming like I do, and I'm sure you do, and all of us at Modern Drummer are so passionate about, you got to check out the shop at moderndrummer.com. And please, again, hit the link and subscribe to the Modern Drummer YouTube channel. I'll see you again soon.
It is a show not to be approached from the fancy drumming aspect, if I may say so. I try to think of it as, what should I not do? You see, when I'm playing this show, because there's always room for more, and in my mind, it should be always less. So, and this kit makes me think that way. It helps me think that way,
Gotcha.
So at the end of the day, it is simplistic drumming, but it has to be done right.
Exactly.
And for example, a song that's very earthy and very simple, but it's a rumbly groove that just develops and grows dynamically through the song. It's a song, I'm Your Man, it's called. But it's simple, tasty, and what our percussionist is doing on top of it just sort of really complements the beat. But song grows. It's a 4-minute plus song, and it goes from it starts all the way to. And it's one way that we approach playing with mallets on snares off or the deep sounding drums. And then, like I was saying, our percussionist is playing a huge surdo on top of it, so it makes the whole thing sound really big. It's a really fun song to play, and it's extremely simple, which I find that it's where the challenge is.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
simple is not easy. So let's go to broomsticks and bamboo
Yeah.
sticks, because I know we have to strike soon.
Yeah, yeah, of course. For example, we have a reimagination of a Mitski song called "I Don't Smoke," which by no means sounds like this in the record, and we're playing as she's line dancing to it. There is violin, there's accordion to it, and we go. That vibe with broomsticks, I mean with rods on this snare, just sounds simple and great, and it's what the rearrangement of the song calls for. That's an idea. For example, with rods, we have, let's see. Oh yeah, we have a really great tune from the new record called Heaven, which is a slow, very slow shuffle, which is extremely challenging. But I'm doing rods, hot rods on the hi-hat, and then the broomstick on the snare. Even slower than that on live. It's considerably slower than that. But it's one way that we found that we're mixing and matching tone and sounds. There's a little more, you can hear the difference. If I were to play hi-hats with these, it would almost disappear in the mix. They're too soft, so we're using this so as not to use a drumstick and take over the rest. So it's the ways that we do in rehearsal. We worked it out to figure what's the best way to approach it to sound like the record, but not to overtake the rest of the band. And again, for me, my mindset is, what should I take out? What should I not add? What should I not do? It's 100% what I'm thinking while I'm playing drums, especially with Mitski on this tour, but basically it's always been the case. Like, what should I not do? What should I definitely not play coming up? Yeah, and I try to subtract instead of add. It's been my motto for too long now.
And how about just play around with some sticks or something? We'll just get some B-roll.
Yeah. Let me think of a song that. We have a cool part. Oh yeah. Working for the Knife is a really great Mitski song from the previous album, but that's one time that we used the cowbell and the stack, for example. That song is super challenging. it goes from the groove without the snare and the hi-hat to that, but keeping the cowbell going pattern with the stack. It's a really fun reimagination of what the record sounds like, and it sounds really great live. Whatever. Again, when I'm playing drums, I am most likely thinking, what should I not do? And that's been the way that I've approached playing for so long, you know? Even to the point where drum fills, I try to, if I can, I try to not play them and try to find a way to do something that sends us from a section of a song to the next in the most minimal way possible. So definitely not a choppy fill type of drummer. But yeah, it's great.
Well, Bruno, thank you. Thank you for being
guys.
here today.
Such a
Thank you,
pleasure.
everybody, for
Thank
checking
you,
out
guys.
this rundown. We're
Yes.
excited to share your podcast with everybody.
Big time.
So,
And
Bruno,
check out the magazine too.
thank you.
Yeah.
Modern Drummer. See you soon, everybody.
Thank you, guys.